Hey everybody, and welcome back to Angling Archaeology. And in this episode, we're not talking about angling at all. Instead, we're going to be talking about my 1982 Ford Bronco. I've had a few people ask about it, so I figured, hey, why not just make a video about it? So stick around as we walk around this 40-year-old Ford beauty. I'm making a YouTube about the Bronco. I know. Well, this is a fishing channel. Although I never fish on it. So let me show you the inspiration for the video, and it's this right here. Now this doesn't look too bad, it's a good 20-footer, but you get up close and this thing's tired, it's sad, it's seen better days. So I think we need to clean this up because I can't put this on this. Now I just put the shine juice on here, everything should be all polished up and buffed up. So I want this to kind of look just slightly better. But before we get that top on, let's just go ahead and take a quick walk around. So this has got the big 6 in it. This thing is essentially all original. No mods, anything like that. I mean, this is the way that I like my vehicles. I want them to be just as they would have been coming off the showroom floor in 1982. And this thing's a tank. Runs great. And, you know, we're missing a couple things here and there. That's, I don't know, probably AC unit. So, but who needs that anyways when the top's off? Now, as I mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of originality. I like things that look like they rolled right off the assembly line, but I'm okay with mods as long as they're period correct. And that's kind of what I did here. So I would say this is kind of 90% original, if you will. It has had a repaint, and you can tell right here. I mean, it's just, they did a really good job. You know, it was kind of a shade tree mechanic type job, but you can tell here's the original color, and then it's just a kind of a lighter brown with a little bit of a sparkle or flake. And what I did, what's different with this, is I put the freewheeling package decals on here. Now, they would have had decals like this for 1980. For 1982, they did not have that. And for folks that want to do this to their Broncos, I'll put a little something down in the description that shows you where to find this. These are actually 1978-79 freewheeling decal kits, and they're made by Phoenix Graphics. But as you can see, I mean, they really turned out well. And I thought, I mean, this goes perfect. You got the browns, the yellow, orange, red. I mean, just, it works. Next thing I did over here is I put some white wagon wheels on. I think, you know, hey, for an early 80s Bronco, that's, you have to have that. And they would have had something similar to that from the factory as well. All right, now let's head into the interior real quick. Now I bought this from an older guy. This is a one owner. It was a guy who's actually selling it for his friend who bought it new in 82. And you can see there's a few things that have been redone. The seats are new, but I think they did a great job. I like this, the brown that this is kind of like 50 Shades of Brown going on in here, but I like that. They got a new back seat. And you got to have the cool rest cooler. That's quintessential. I mean, that's functional and it looks good. You got the truck and floor mats. You got to keep it period correct. Let's get in here, take a look. I love these old school dashes right here. Simple. It's just got everything you need. Now I did upgrade the stereo, but it still looks old school, so I'm okay with that. So this is a 4-speed. That 4-speed with that inline 6, whew, let me tell you, this thing is not going to be setting any land speed records at all, but it will climb a tree, so it's a workhorse for sure. Yeah, as you can see, it's not perfect, but gosh, it's a great cruiser. But here you go. Here's a little walk around. Let's get the other side too, just so you guys can see it. Now let's get back to how we're gonna get that top cleaned up and get this puppy ready for fall. So I got this right here. Boop, boop. It's a little paint gun from Harbor Freight. It's only 14 bucks. That was a heck of a deal. And then I got a little pressure gauge right here as well too. So I'm gonna attempt to spray the top of it. I'm gonna go back to a camel color, kind of keep it all original, keep it with the theme or whatever else. I've never done this before, but I did watch a YouTube on it about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so I'm obviously an expert on how to do it. So I'm gonna do a little kind of how-to video, or most likely how to not spray the top of your Bronco. But this will go for anything. You can spray your boats, you can spray old trucks. Heck, I don't know. I got a cruising cooler. You can spray your cooler. Doesn't matter. You can spray whatever you want, but let's show you how I'm going to do it. Now, before we jump into spraying that puppy, you're going to need a few things, and just my suggestion. You can do whatever you want. But first and foremost, get some old clothes if you want. You can do it. I mean, you can spray in a tuxedo for all I care. But for me, I got this Cousin Eddie's Worm Farm shirt, one of my finer shirts, but I'm okay if I never have to wear this again. So if it gets dirty, it is what it is. So I also got this old Fishermen Never Die, They Just Smell That Way hat. I've got this free from Jensen Fishing Tackle after buying some spinning lures. Never had an opportunity to wear this, but I think today is that day because, you know, might be one of those things that may not make it out. Next, most importantly, you're gonna need a respirator. When you go to an automotive paint store and they mix up your paint, it's not like spray paint. You have to mix it with this, I don't even know what it is, hardener, solution, sealant, I'm not sure. I'm not an automotive painter, I've never done this before. Watched YouTube, so obviously an expert. But this stuff stinks. When they were mixing this, I'm pretty sure I left that place with way less brain cells than when I walked in. So make sure you have this, because you do not want to be a space cadet for a full week after you spray anything. You know, spray your boat, spray your car, whatever the case is. That stuff stinks, and it's 17 bucks at Harbor Freight. So just do yourself a favor, buy it. It's just one less 18 pack of Natty Light. You can handle it. You're doing yourself a favor. Last but not least, I spared you the just mind-numbing boringness of taping. Prep is key. You got to get it prepped. And so you can see in the back here, I just use trash bags because I don't want to spend any money on this. This is kind of a budget paint. And I just taped both sides. I need to put in a little trash bag right there. And tape that as well too. So, and I did the smart thing. We had no wind this morning, and now I'm waiting until it's starting to be a little windy. And we're supposed to have a little bit of rain in the afternoon too. So perfect timing to get out and do this. But we'll try it anyways and see how we do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll this down. Let's fire up the paint gun and let's see what we can do. All right, folks, the wind's starting to pick up, so I need to kind of get moving on this. So if you do go to an automotive store, you'll have to mix the solvent with the paint. Make sure you follow those rules. He put 1 to 2. I think what he meant was 2 to 1. But here we go. So if you have a painter's cup, you see right here, you put the paint to this right here, and then you fill the rest with solvent as well. So I'm gonna get this mixed up and then get this into the gun right here. Also, when you're spraying, you want to try to be at a kind of 30 PSI. I don't have it on right now, but that's kind of where you want to be when you're spraying, from what I've heard. Listen, I'm no expert, first time doing this. I'm sure a lot of people who have painted stuff before will tell me that I'm wrong, but this is what I was told. So, you know what? I guess we'll just find out what the end result looks like. Here's a quick update. The respirator that I bought from Harbor Freight broke, or was broken out of package. So, you know, we're gonna make do with this, and then we're gonna take it back when we're done, because this is 17 bucks. Come on now. Okay, we got coat 1 on, and this thing fell off, so I don't even know that I need to be wearing this. But anyways, turned out pretty good. Let's take a look. So what you want to do is you want to get your first base coat on, and then what they call flash it, which kind of gets the paint settled in there for about 10 minutes, and then you go over with your next coat. But I mean, I think this went on pretty smooth. I think it helped that it kind of had a little bit of a texture before, so it doesn't have to look perfect. But I like that color. I think that's going to look good with that Bronco. Okay, we just got this puppy painted, and man, this turned out great. I am honestly shocked in myself. I didn't know, but you know what? You can do it. Put your mind to it. This is the color that I wanted. I wanted a kind of a camel, a lighter color to contrast that darker brown on the Bronco, and this turned out great. Now let me show you a couple things that I learned along the way that you shouldn't do. Okay, so number one would be make sure you really take your time and prep this. So I thought I did, but maybe don't use trash bags. Actually get the legit plastic stuff. Might make your job a little bit easier. I was constantly taping the trash bags down to the drop cloth right here, and that was just, it was going haywire. Also, maybe don't use drop cloth. Maybe go to a place where you don't have your feet stick to the ground when the paint hits it. Because when you're painting, you really want to get a back and forth motion, back and forth, real smooth strokes. It's kind of hard to do that when your foot is stuck to the bottom of the blanket here. So I think this turned out great. I really like the color here. I mean, it's a great looking kind of camel. It'll be a good contrast to the brown, but let's get everything cleaned up. I'm gonna let this dry, and we will put this on the Bronco tomorrow and see how it looks. Well, I think all in all, this turned out okay, especially for the first time that I've ever sprayed anything before. What do you think, Bert? Yeah, say not too bad. Now, if you saw a little bit of texture in there, that wasn't any kind of technique or overspray or anything like that. These tops actually already had texture on them before I painted. But I gotta say, you know, this gave some new life to an old topper. So don't be scared to try something new. Pick up a paint gun, paint that old boat, paint that pickup truck that's just rusting out in your yard somewhere. Whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. Just have fun doing it. So, anyways, until next time, thanks for watching Angling Archaeology, where we unearth the good old days.